If you want to get experience like Jimi Hendrix,
This you crazy mother.
Hey Glow Beauties! This is going to be a get ready with me with new makeup and new to me makeup. I thought why not do it as a get ready with me because I haven't done one in a while and I thought I would try one out and see how it goes, okay? There's going to be a lot of fumbling, there's going to be a lot of ding-ding, just bear with me, okay? Because we're going to get this look and I don't think it's a bad look, I think it's a great look. And we are going to be using, listen, Dame Mother Pat's new Mega Celestial Nirvana Palette. Look at that, isn't that amazing? Yes, it is. So we're gonna have the new Hourglass palettes. I got two of them, but we're gonna be demoing the elephant one. This one's got the pink blushes and this one's got the peach blushes. So I'm going to be demoing the pink blushes today. It's really great because Hourglass came out with 3 compacts for this year for the holiday edition. Each one leans into a different skin tone. This one is for the richer skin tones. This one is for like the fair to medium skin tones. And then you've got the butterfly, which does the more fairer one. So I picked up these ones because I love my blushes and I wanted to have a pink and a peach. So sue me. And on top of that, they went all out with the covers, the illustrations, and I forgot to mention that 5% of the proceeds, the profits, go to the Animal Non-Human Rights Foundation to help rescue animals. So I think that is fantastic. And then we got the Patrick Cha Major Skin Cream Foundation and Powder Duo. It's relatively new. I've been using it a lot. So there is a little pan in there now. So it's not that new, but it's still new. We're going to have a little secret at the end. So you got to stick around to the end to see what else is in there. With that said, let us get in. I was so happy when Patrick Cha came out with the Major Skin Cream Foundation and Powder Duo. I like my foundations fast and quick. I want to get out the door. I've got a job to go to and I need things quick. I don't have any patience. I seem to be leaning towards powder foundations and stick foundations. I love Bobbi Brown. Their color undertones are amazing. So I've always tried and true are my stick foundation from Bobbi Brown and my powder foundation from Bobbi Brown. Now I also wear liquid foundations. I love using liquid foundations, but when I'm in a rush, I like to use these. However, the powder foundation is really matte and I don't like that kind of finish. In the summertime, it works great because it's hot and humid and going to work and wearing a mask, it actually works out to be a good fit. In the wintertime, the stick foundation is better because it's a little bit more luminous. The only thing about the stick foundation is that when you apply it, I use my fingers, it is stiff. So I'm kind of pulling on my skin at the same time, which is not really what I want to do. I knew that a cream foundation was going to be the solution for me. So when Patrick Cha came out with this was like my chance. And Bobbi Brown has always been my tried and true because they've always, for years and years, always understood undertones for richer skin tones. However, now that so many companies are coming out with theirs, everybody's now understanding undertones and that there's more than one undertone for deeper skin tones, just like with fairer skin tones. So I was super glad, and it was very easy because I purchased this online and I actually got the right color. Though the powder initially looked light, it actually works. I just have to apply it very lightly. I have normal to oily skin. I also have inflammatory skin, so I can't use a brush. And Patrick Cha does come out with a brush, but it's a little bit too loose and not compact enough. When looking at it online. Also, I can't use a brush because when I use a brush to apply foundation, it irritates my skin and the next day I'm getting pimples all over my skin. So it's called inflammatory acne if anybody wants to know. So I use a sponge. I wish Patrick Cha had a place there for a sponge because it would have been perfect. So, and it's a dry sponge that I use for this application. So let's finally get into it. I'm usually a lot faster at applying foundation. Of course, on camera it's going to be a little slower, okay? And I'm looking down at my mirror, so I don't know how. I'm not very good at doing. I'm not very good. I'm not a pro at this, okay? Put it that way. I'm not a pro at applying. I've hit pan! There's 9 grams of product in here, which is the same as Bobbi Brown's stick foundation. I think a powder foundation is 11 grams, and this is 9 grams. So I've been using it for a little while, but I am a little surprised that I already hit pan. And this is a lot easier for me to use with a sponge. And I got, this is a SEPHORA sponge that I got in a pack. And it only cost $13. And I think it might have even been on sale when I actually picked it up. So there we go. So so this is a lot faster and easier to do than fingers. When I'm applying foundation with a liquid, I use my fingers. I don't use any concealer because I got too much going on underneath my eyes and it only accentuates that. So I don't use concealer anymore. And see, this is very fast. I'm usually even faster than this. I am super happy. This has really worked out really good for me, and it's really quick. This is the sponge. It comes in a 4-pack, the SEPHORA, and it's like $13 regularly, and I have a feeling it might have been on sale when I bought it. Popped up when I was purchasing probably this. It popped up as a, would you like to purchase this on SEPHORA? And I did. Oh, the other thing about this, very easy to get the right color. My color here is medium 1 golden warm. This is great for now. I may need something a little lighter in the winter time when my skin kind of settles into my winter color. And they have the light medium 2 golden warm. So light medium comes in different, like golden warm, olive, neutral, something like that, right? So mine is golden warm, which is light medium 2. So I'm thinking I really want to, but I have to use up my Bobbi Brown first before I go in. So now we're going to put this down. This is a very Natasha Denona thing, which is really, really great. But I'm sure Natasha Denona didn't, I'll put it up on the screen where you can't copy it because they've done a copyright on it or something like that. Now I'm going to apply this lightly. Don't need a lot. In the wintertime I may apply more. This is great because it's easy to travel with. Everybody likes to say that, but it's true. One day, I'll be able to travel and I'll be bringing something like this along with me and I'll be a happy camper. So we are going in. We have the Mega Celestial Nirvana Palette from Dame Mother Pat in the house. This is what it looks like, and of course I love pink, Mother love pinks, we are vibing, and we got the hot pink. I know she's done a lot of pinks, we want her to veer off. She has given us our wishes. The mass appeal has won. Well, everybody has won with this one. This is kind of like a Mother Pat's rainbow palette, okay? The smorgasbord palette. So we got it going on and it looks amazing. So right away when she launched it, I noticed right away before I saw that she did give the legend for it. I noticed right away the patterning. She put them in like 6-pan palettes. This is a palette, the neutral. This is a palette, the cool tone purple, and this is the palette, the warm tone pink. That's how she did it, which is perfect because you got a whole bunch of 18 pans of shadow in here. It can be a bit overwhelming for people, and this is a nice way to kind of bite size it and get it organized in the brain and easier to play with that way. And then on top of that, then you can just kind of go wherever you will, but you can start with this format here. These ones are the luscious ones. I think this one, yeah, this one's a lush one here. This metallic, a nice lush one, so you kind of have to be careful not to dig in too deep with them. What I love also about this palette, the color key is brighter and more saturated than what she normally does. With her normal Mothership palette, she has a tendency over, you'll get your kind of your baked formula on one side that are like the flashy on steroids, and then you'll get the more useful ones on that side. They tend to be deeper and smokier. I get a bit frustrated with that because then the eye looks tend to be really smoky and it kind of drives me a little crazy, and so then I have to reach into other palettes. So this is color keyed a lot brighter and more saturated. It's a happy palette, okay? I don't feel I have to go into another palette to do anything. I'm gonna give you an example. Her last Mega Ship palette. It's not as smoky as some of her other ones, but this is a good example. And like, you've got the Blitz Astrals over here. These are not the baked formulas, but I have swatched them next to the baked formulas in her other palettes. They are the same, okay? They are the same. Some of them are a little, the most crazy iridescent is the ones in the Utopian Dream because they've got the least amount of the base in the Astrals. These have a little bit more base. This one has a little bit more base than the other, this one here. But these two are the Blitz Astrals. They're just not in a baked formula. However, I'm talking about on this side, it's very smoky, right? And so you can't get those lighter, brighter colors. So I keep on, every time I use this, I'm forced to go into another palette, or I make up a kind of singles palette to get the brighter colors in. I don't have to do that with this. It's all in here. But I feel like most of her motherships, except for like the Divine Rose 2 and the Utopian, I have to go into other palettes to get brighter. And then this is even worse because you've got two plums in here. One a burgundy version and one a plum version. Oh my God, why in a 10-pet would you do that? All the looks look the same. You're just switching out the lid colors. But it all looks the same unless you go in with the brown. And I'm not a brown person. So it was driving me crazy because then I was going into another palette all the time. So to the point where I decided, let me make my own palette. So of course, I have definitely gone on a tangent here. So this is my version of a palette, which I can make another video on. This is my version of the Moonlit Seduction palette, okay? These are the quads over on this side, and then this here, I created my version where I swatched out the brown, put in a deep plum burgundy as a deepening color. I switched out, this would be like one of the burgundy colors, and then this I switched out and put in a lavender periwinkle, and then you've got the similar ones here. And then of course I can do what I want with the palette, so I added on some extras in here. So this is my version because I couldn't stand going into another palette, so I said, oh, you know what, let's just make me my version of the Moonlit Seduction. And you know what, the looks come out the same, but there's more variety to it. So with that said, let us get in. We're gonna do a cool toned, because I'm a cool toned girl and I'm wearing cool tones. Do this really softly. So I went in with the purple. Oh, it's just a little brighter. Ooh, child, it is. I forgot to, well, actually I did put a little powder over it, but probably not enough, so it kind of stuck. Because Pat McGrath, these shadows are so silky smooth, okay? Her mattes, oh my God. So this is the purple. I'm going with a natural haired, looser packed brush just to kind of diffuse a little. I'm going in with a shader brush, and I'm going to start with this pink. You know I was gonna do it. You know I was gonna do it. Here we go. I'm gonna go in with this pink. So here we go. Now when I'm in a hurry, I'll just use my fingers. I'll just forget about the brush. And the thing is with Pat McGrath shadows, when she uses them, everything that she makes, she tests it actually in real life, in photos and on the runway, okay? It actually says that in her description. She loves to use her fingers. I've seen her do it in on the runways. She just goes in with her finger, man. I have actually used my finger with the mats and they work perfectly. So now I'm gonna go into this. This is a very textured shadow. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna do a little, in fact, let me just go with my finger because it's a lot quicker. See that? So much quicker. So that kind of mixes it a little. Okay, I'm gonna go in with this brush here and I'm going to go in with the blue, but I'm gonna mix this. Hold on, I just washed this, so it's a little stiff, so I'm just breaking it. So we're going in with a little bit of purple and a little bit of blue. And I do that a lot. I like to mix my colors. There we go, with the pencil brush. Now, this is, you just gotta play around with things, okay? This is an artistry palette. That's what it's called in the front. There's 1.2 grams, 1.26 grams of eyeshadow in each pan, and it's called an artistry palette. So I think there are some colors in here that are supposedly not safe to use on the eyes. That's why they don't say eyeshadow palette, but it's called an artistry palette because it's a palette that you can play with and be an artist with, right? So you can mix the shadows on the lid or you can mix them actually in the pan. And this is made in Italy. All good eyeshadows are made in Italy. That's where you get high quality. All right, so then we're going to go here. And again, now I don't know why I'm holding up this palette. I don't really need to hold up the palette. Okay, I might put a little silver. I think I might put a little silver. Where is it? Okay, so now I really changed it up. Okay, see, I just used my finger. And might put that in the pink. Okay, so I'm mixing them both, man. Give it a little silver. You know, you can just adjust. Look, there's no rules, right? There is no rules, so I'm just adjusting along the way. The one thing about this palette I'm a bit disappointed in. I don't know why she couldn't put it in, because she can put it in to her, like the Bridgerton palette, so special edition palette. So I don't see why not, especially since this is a holiday palette. I know she wants to make it more mass appeal for everybody, you know, but I think she could have done this, and that is put a Blitz Astral in here. There is no Blitz Astrals in this palette. Also, the other thing is this is a cardboard insert. Last year's was the, you know, the kind of hard plastic insert that made it a little bit more luxurious feel. This year, again, it's the cardboard inserts. So I'm a little bit disappointed about that, and I'm definitely disappointed in the fact that she did not put any Blitz Astrals in here at all. The glitteriest shadow is this one here, and it's not that glittery. There is a little bit of that Blitz Astral glitter, but not as much as her normal Blitz Astral. I think for holiday, you're expecting glitter. You want glitter. So I would think with Pat McGrath, you would get it in this. So if you want a Pat McGrath experience, this is her mass market experience, okay? This is not her real experience. If you want to get experience like Jimi Hendrix, you gotta go for her Mothership palettes, okay? That's when you're gonna get the experience. Maybe I should put a highlight. I forgot. Use this as a highlight brush, and we're gonna go into this one here, which is meant to, see my voice is getting squeaky. That is COVID. That's leftover COVID that inflamed my vocal cords from last February when I had COVID. And I didn't even have a sore throat. I had a hoarse throat. That was my first symptom, was a hoarse throat, but never sore. The hoarse throat stayed with me all through the COVID, and I didn't shut up. My doctor told me to be quiet and not speak whilst I had it because I was still remaining hoarse. And of course, I could, because I got to talk to my cats, and my cats need to be talked to. And with that, I couldn't be quiet, and it stayed. So it inflamed my vocal cords, and now I have to go to an ear, nose, and throat doctor as a result. COVID is for real. It's not just a cold, it's an inflammatory virus. There's another type of inflammatory virus called the Coxsackie-B virus, which is a stomach flu virus that usually hits your intestines, but it's short acting because it likes to burrow itself like a Trojan horse and go to other areas of the body. COVID does the same thing. That's my little TED Talk. So the next thing we're gonna do is the elephant palette. I love these little unlock palettes, and finally Hourglass came out with the different skin tones, and finally it's for real. They did a believable job of it, and they went all the way and put them in these beautiful illustrations. So there's 3 of them. I picked up 2. This one is for medium skin tones, fair to medium. This one is for richer skin tones, but you can cross-pollinate and you can use the different pants for different things. We're going to go with the pink today. Just to let you know, this is a tin as opposed to the other one, which is a hard plastic. So it's got the fake opening. It's actually not a click opening as their original palettes. This is actually a magnetic opening. So I keep on wanting to do this with it because you've got this little ridge here, right? So you think that you're supposed to hold it and do this, but it's all one piece. It is actually a magnetic opening, and it flops. Unlike the other one where it kind of hinges a little bit more, this one flops, which is a little bit disappointing because they did such an amazing job. I wish it didn't do that. Right. These are the 2 finishing powders. This is a strobe highlighting powder. This is a bronzer. If you're deeper skin tone, richer skin tone, you could possibly use this as a finishing powder, and the 2 blushes. So this one's a little bit more coral, hardly detect it, and has, I think, a little luminous finish, and then this one is the pink. So we're going to go in with the highlighter, the strobe highlighter. So we're going to go in with this, and sometimes I kind of like to mix them, so I haven't even used the highlighter yet. So we're doing it right now, and we can do this too. And I'm going to put it on the nose, and what sometimes I like to do is mix them. So I'll do this and I'll do a little that, so that I get a pinky highlighter. Okay, so you can do this. Remember, just treat it as an artistry palette, right? So boom, 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 boom. A little dab will do ya. Okay, now I like to go subtle, the piece de resistance with the blush. So I'm going to go in with the pink blush, and we're going to blush ourselves. We're going to give us a little flush. And I like to go here, my mom taught me to do that, to go on the nose. And there's a little trick that I like to do, and I may get the palette out. It became a famous Dior pink palette. And I do like to do this. I can't help myself. When I wear pink, I like to put on that, as it just kind of bumps it up a notch and gives it the brightness that I'm looking for in a pink. And I'm going to add a little bit of this in a pink blush. There we go. This is my get ready with me, and in true get ready fashion, that is what I do. So I'm gonna go and get it. I'll be right back. So this is my Dior pink blush right here, and you can see it's been well loved. I'm gonna go in with this, and this just gives it that extra, it's a flavor enhancer. Okay, that's what I like to call it, a flavor enhancer. It just kind of bumps up the color and gives it some brightness and lightness. We're gonna go in with the finishing powder. Finishing powders. And I'm mixing them up. And I'm just gonna, and you can buff it. If you've got too much blush here, just buff away, buff away. Go under the eye. Hope you don't poke your eye at the same time, because I have a tendency to be a little uncoordinated. It's funny, because in ballet and in athletics, I'm not. I guess there tend to be bigger movements or something. I have no idea. In dancing, I'm not. But in these fine movement stuff, I can be a bit uncoordinated. Okay, so we got that down. So these are all the new products. Anything else that's new? I'm trying to think. We're going to apply some lipstick. These are not new. So now what we're going to do is put on Dior. This is a lip balm. This was from a number of years ago. Heats up with your lip and gets you to the right tone of pink. It can get quite bright. I got the Dior gloss. It's in a little bit of a purple. Do have a little mark on my lid, which I will take off later. I hope I remember. Don't hold it against me if I forget, because I am super forgetful. So this is my look. I did remember to take off the mascara mark, so I'm very proud of this look, and this is the first time I've used this palette. So this is going to be such a versatile palette because there's so many looks that you can get from it. You can go from very, very neutral to super, super bright and all the things in between, and different color stories. You can ground the reds with a little bit more neutrals. You can go, there's so much variety in this palette and so many looks that you can get. So you can do workaday looks, you can go out in the evening looks. This is a super fun palette. So I think Pat McGrath did a really great palette. I just want to see some Blitz Astrals. And of course, a look cannot be complete without some scent. You gotta have the ambiance, the cherry on top. And my cherry on top is apples from Kilian's Apple Brandy on the Rocks. Now this is a scent to behold. Perfect for autumn time, perfect for apple season. Apple season goes in until November, and Apple Brandy on the Rocks hits the spot beautifully. It is warm, it's inviting, it's gourmand, it's an apple gourmand. It is a apple pie gourmand mixed with the beautiful brandy and the rum to round out the apples to make it not so cloying. Let me just put some on right now because I need some on right now. I need this scent on me. This, oh my goodness. Oh, it's sweet but not cloying because it's got the bergamot and cardamom at the top to give it a little bit of a spicy note and a bit of freshness. You know when you make an apple pie and you put, what do you put? You squeeze lemons on the apples for the apple pie. That gives it that flavor enhancing and that freshness, right? So the apples aren't too cloying, not too raw, just right. Well, that's what the bergamot does in here. And then, of course, you've got the apples in here. And then you've got a bit of pineapple to sweeten it up a bit, to give it a tropical. You got the rum and the brandy to give it that masculine, kind of like a masculine, but not, don't get me wrong, this is not a masculine, this is actually almost a gender neutral fragrance, but it gives it that oomph, that maturity, but it's not mature. It just gives it that liqueur, yummy amazingness. Then you got a little bit of vanilla to sweeten it all up a bit. You got some moss going on to give it that kind of fullness and stuff. And then you got cedar to give it that smoke. You gotta have a little smoke with that rum and brandy and apple. It's got that grit going on, kind of like Durango, like Clint Eastwood, right? And then you got ambroxan. Now ambroxan comes from ambergris. We can go into ambergris because it's coming from the whale's guts, right? When the whale eats something, it creates a coating because the whale eats things whole and it can roughen up its intestines. So they create this kind of fluid, this gunky thing called ambergris to coat the thing, and then they throw it up. Yes, they throw it up and it hardens, and you wouldn't think that, you know, that throb would stink. No, it doesn't. It smells amazing. Amazing. Actually, they made a perfume out of it by Julia Scott & Got not a perfume. When you put it, this is the chemical version of it, Ambroxan, and when you put it in a perfume, oh my God, it's a flavor enhancer. Ambroxan, ambergris, flavor enhancer. It makes the sillage stronger, longer. Everybody can smell you from around the corner. It fixes the fragrance so it lasts long on the skin. It also brightens it up, you know, basically kind of like a bergamot, brightens everything up, just makes it more almost sparkling. It just kind of creates that, oh my God. So this is what's in here. You know what it reminds me of? Actually, it reminds me of Kilian's Angel Share. There's a lot of familiarity with Kilian's Angel Share, but it's literally like as if I can envision angels eating apples. This is what I think of this is, like angels eating apples, running through a beautiful autumn forest, picking the apples from the apple tree, being hugged by a strong, gorgeous oak of a tree man in front of a fireplace who's also cuddly at the same time. You know he gonna treat you right, but you know he's got a little bit of like Clint Eastwood. He could be bad, but he ain't gonna be bad. So this is what this is like. I hope you enjoyed my Get Ready With Me with new to me and slightly used new products that I picked up along the way. I think this is a fun way to do a show and tell. It's a fun way to do a version of a haul and a review, but do it in actionable styles. I think I came out with a pretty nice look. You can repeat it if you have her palette. Are you planning on picking it up? If you already have it, how you're enjoying it. I'd love to hear your experience with this palette. I don't even know whether I should tell you this, but this is how I picked it up, and that's through Klarna, which is the pay in installments, 4 installments every 2 weeks. So that's a nice bite-sized way of paying it so that you're not feeling the pain, and that allows you to be able to purchase it. So a lot of companies are doing that right now. If you don't get it, you can recreate this look with the shadows that you have. You do not have to have this palette to do that, okay? And like, I mean, use your, if you have Cleona, if you've got other palettes, use stuff and mix and match. You don't have to make it look exactly like this. This is your version of it, right? Just like how I made my version of the Mothership Moonlit Seduction. I know that's a mouthful. The Mothership Moonlit Seduction. I made my version of it with single eyeshadows. Use what you have. You do not have to get Pat McGrath's palette to make this look. If you like this video, do give it a thumbs up, like, and share it with your friends. I do have links to everything that I demoed in the description box below, so do check that out. And don't forget, rock your own kind of beauty and keep on going and keep on glowing. I will.